Hello and welcome to another Dwarven Tavern video. This time, I'm your host, Dr. Jeff Goins, and with us in the tavern are...
I am Lyra Goins.
I'm Josh.
And we are going to be talking about something that happened during... we were doing a Roll20 because these two were elsewhere.
We were in the South Carolina branch.
They were in the South Carolina clan of the Cave Bear. And
of the Cave Bear?
Sure, that's a movie. Clan of the Cave Bear. I know my movies, baby. Anyway, I want to drink of this, but I want to keep talking. So, here we were. These two were characters along with Taverneer Ian, and they were headed east to... East is that way. They were headed east to... He is east tonight. From point A to point B, we'll say. And that was their mission. They had to go to this tavern and stand guard over it because the tavern was being harassed by a vampire, Nosferatu. And so that was their mission, more or less. It was not like a waypoint that you could see in your HUD. It was like, I mean, this was D&D. It was actually Pathfinder, which we're going to be talking about in a little bit later in another video. But what happened is while they were on their way, they fell into a pit. Actually, he fell into a pit, and the other two climbed down to try and mount some sort of, not necessarily a rescue, but a way out.
But I discovered the pit.
He discovered a pit. Right. And so Lyric and Ian were saying we need to get...
Who is not pictured.
Who is out, yeah, he's not pictured. They were saying we need to get back on track. We need to get back on mission. And he was wanting to stay and explore.
I want to do what I want to do. Fuck you.
He was wanting to stay and explore the cave complex that they had fallen into. Now, it was very obviously the trap itself was a funnel-shaped structure. It wasn't a natural formation. And it was very much intended for someone. It may not have been specifically for them, but it was intended for someone to fall into it. And they're currently in it now, so I can't really divulge any great details.
Right.
But they were harassed by skeletons and something in the shadows that keeps trying to mess with him. Which
I think I just remembered what it could potentially be.
So it came. Ian and I were talking to it after we quit.
Talking to the shadow monster.
To it, yes, and it was like.
Yes, your master.
It was really. That's great. Why don't you go away now? Shadow thing, and motives actually became a question. Now, what was your? We'll start with you.
Okay.
Because we don't want to attack Josh right away. We want to make this like, why did you do this, man? You ruined the whole thing.
It's all your fault.
It's all your fault.
It's not my fault. It's not my fault.
Why did you not specifically want to stay and explore the cave?
Because I felt, that was mostly to do with my character.
It was apparently Irish.
I don't know where that came from, but no, my
I can drink now.
Yes, you can. Etempsala is a character whom I wanted to be optimistic. She is my very optimistic character. She is kind and forgiving and loving because she serves the goddess Shelem of the Pathfinder religion.
The goddess of Boy Scouts.
She's the goddess of love and affection. She's basically she's basically the Aphrodite of the Pathfinder religions. So she worships her, and she is a very new cleric. She's very young, and she's trying to see the good in everybody. So when they went to this particular, I won't even call it a town. It was more like it's a farming village. 614,000 experience points for that guy. But it's very specific.
Yeah.
It's a farming village. There was like 3 houses and 13 miles, so it's not very.
It was very rural.
Yeah. So they go in there, and there's a vampire that's giving them hell. Haha. So she wants to help solve that problem. So I think that was mostly of my character's mindset. She has a very one-track mind when it comes to protecting and serving the people. Mm-hmm. She's a very policing type character. She's the one that when there's a problem, she has to fix it almost obsessively, and it's very hard for her to diverge from that mindset. So when diverge, that's right.
That word, right. Yeah.
Okay, so when
it hit me weird, it hit me kind of sideways.
So when Itimsala, my character, saw Nillian, his character, fall down that pit, it was more of a let's get out so that we can keep going and we'll come back and explore later.
Can we stay on track, please?
So sorry for getting you off track.
Sorry. I was distracted by gravity.
and lack of earth.
Anyway, she was like, wants to go explore it. She wants to go see what's up with it because she's very curious, but at the same time, she knows that there is a greater evil that needs taken care of, as far as she knows. Like, we don't know what's in that pit. We don't know what's in that cave. So, like, there could be an even greater evil down there, but we don't know it yet. So, she just wants to focus on the vampire because she knows that's something that maybe she could handle. So, that's my mindset about what to do in that situation was all of her personality. That was Itimsala's decision, was we need to keep going, and then reluctantly agreeing to stay because he's down there and he's useless, so we need to go help him.
Wow. Definitely was not useless.
You're not useless, but
I'm the one that's been doing everything.
Well, actually, you killed all the skeletons.
You did.
All by yourself. So
then I put out that enormous fire that you said, so I have to say we're even.
Yeah, well, it was either the fire or darkness, so the fire.
I think you.
That's the lesser two evils.
I gave you the appropriate experience points reward for that thinking because I thought that was very, very clever. A big dry pile of stuff, things in the darkness.
Whoosh.
Let's set this place on fire. So that's that. Now, speaking on an entirely metagaming.
Okay.
What do you think as a player when this kind of a situation happens? Like you're on your way to this one thing, and then suddenly this happens. What do you think? What is your opinion of actually, I think the question is more appropriately, do you think that I have done something for a reason? I mean...
Do you want me to go ahead and...
Yeah, go ahead and answer that. I could sit and paraphrase myself all day while I wear glasses.
I used to be a really awful metagamer. I used to be like, okay, the DM is doing this. I still catch myself doing this all the time. I used to be like, you know what? The DM's saying that we should do that, or the DM is, insinuating we should do that, so we probably should. But then I also kind of weighed in with what my character might do. Like, would my character do what the DM wants? I don't know. Which is a great way to get yourself out of metagaming. Like, if you find yourself, that's a pro tip. If you find yourself metagaming, would your character do that? You can think about it like, oh, well, the DM wants us to go down that pit. Would my thief do that though?
Yes, he had no choice.
Well, I'm saying I'm not saying that pit. I'm saying a different pit.
Pit.
So, I mean, that's actually kind of how I got myself out of it and the method that you told me about, which is rolling for your character's like decisiveness, like with the percentile dice. Would my character do that? I don't know, so I'll roll for it. And yes, they would do that.
So, okay, good. What is the method? I'll roll for it. Do you give the character options and say, roll percentage to see if he does this, and then roll another percent under that, and that's what he does?
Well, it's when you roll a percentile dice, it's like, how high of a chance would they do this? Like, how high?
Because very obviously you can't you cannot matricize.
Right.
Put into a matrix every possible decision.
Right.
It's impossible.
Yeah, exactly. Because you there's so many different things.
Right.
You know.
Well, for me,
It's like, oh, there's a baby. What do I do with it? Throws dagger.
well, I guess I have.
Okay.
No, but what it is like, for example, would I donate this gold? Mm-hmm. And you're not sure because you're a chaotic neutral character. Mm-hmm. So you're like, this gold could be beneficial to me, but it also could be beneficial to someone else.
Right.
Would I do it? Well, you roll for it. You got an 82% chance that you would donate it. You roll a 72. Go ahead and donate it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of the situation that it was.
Right.
But in that moment where I am in a campaign on a specific mind tract and you throw something random at us, mm-hmm. that is me. I used to think that, okay, what does he want us to focus on now? That was like 10-year-old lyric.
Right, and that's the thing that I actually hate that more than just about
I grew out of it.
Oh, I know you did.
But now, when that happens in game, I think of it more as like the life and times of that character. Stuff like that can happen in real life where you're doing something, you have a one-track mind and you have a goal, and then you get something thrown out of left field and you have to change your plans entirely. And that just happens. And that has nothing to do with the DM doing something because he wants you to. That's what you're dealing with at that moment. So, I mean, I explained this in my beginner's video for DMs, what is a DM, that when the DM is not the god, he is not the one that you're playing against, he is the world around you. He is creating this world. The things will happen whether you're there or not. They're not there to, make you go in one direction or another. At least that's how you are with DMing. So with my characters, when it comes to like random things happening in addition to the goal that I'm already on, that's just how the game's going. It has nothing to do with what you want us to do. But then again, that's your style of DMing. I know it. And so unfortunately, sometimes when there's another DM who's not as experienced, they might obviously want you to go do something, and that's very hard to play with. That's very hard to combat. Like, how do I not metagame this when they're very obviously wanting me to metagame?
Right.
Which could be another video that we might do.
It really could. Okay.
Sorry for that extremely long
I think that was beautiful. Now, you obviously wanted to stay there and explore and see what was in there. What was your character's motivation for that?
Well, my thought process was I'm in this pit. There's it's unnatural stone. It's warped stone.
Right, it was.
There's writing on the walls. There's this
foreboding writing.
Yeah, there's this shadow monster thing, which is very, evil. Because it was dealing with also what the other stuff we were dealing with. My thought was if I was a vampire, or if I was this thing that wanted to can jump from one place to the other, what's the easiest way to do it? It would be in a set of underground tunnels.
Hey yo, I didn't even think of that.
I felt like the entire tunnels were mapped out. So he was jumping up over here. It's probably how he got to the tavern. It's probably how he got, to the different farms. I was like, well, what's the biggest, what's the most obvious layer and path I think was underground.
That's actually quite clever. Okay, so let the record show that we're stunned that Josh was clever. Okay.
No, he's a very smart man.
So there wasn't any like metagaming motivation. You were actually thinking reasonably as your character being a rogue, strategically would have done. That's really cool.
Well, I'm sure I was metagaming, but I can't say right off the. I can't say what I was doing.
Were you thinking that I wanted you guys to go into the cave instead of go to the tavern? Were you pondering my motives as a dungeon master versus that actual really quite brilliant
I just went straight
thesis.
over. I'm like, wow.
Wow,
did
that's
not, see,
pretty
I was
good.
just thinking it was this giant cave in the middle of nowhere.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if it was me thinking that or me thinking as my character. I don't know.
So it was kind of
So,
very ambiguous.
was your head with you the whole time you were playing?
I don't know. I can't. Let me see.
I have to say that if you're very unsure about whether you were thinking or not, the DM was thinking something. One of Lyric's classic sentences. Then you're not metagaming because you have to very obviously think.
Yeah, it's
what
something.
the
It's a
DM
point of
wants?
interest, and that actually brings me to the point that I was wanting to make in as far as dungeon mastering technique goes. Me personally, as a dungeon master, you all know that I absolutely detest metagaming.
We all do.
And I give these guys, I always give these guys, experience points bonuses out the wazoo because they don't metagame.
We try not to.
And even if even if it might be metagaming might be in the equation somewhere, they don't do it. They both just they just admitted candidly on camera that they don't
every time I do, slap on the wrist.
Slap on the wrist.
To myself.
And so, as a dungeon master, what I do, and I will put this out there for you dungeon masters out there and for these guys, because I think they already know it, is that when I create a universe, when I create a world or scenario, there are plot points, and they'll be gotten to or not, depending on where the story wheedles to. Some plot points go away and others arise, and my dungeons are very my dungeons are very they're very organic. That's organic dungeon mastering. That's not GMO. Game master
That's
organism.
funny.
Yeah, it is. It's so funny. And when one thing that I did years ago, and I still do it to this day, is there was a dungeon that was it was being gone through, and at one point in time it split into two different possible dungeons. This one was the main one, and this one could only be found through a secret door, and it led to an entirely different adventure. And I put about 3 months of work into this guy, and I put about 3 months of work into this guy, and when they went down, and this was Taverneer Lisa and a couple other players, we were playing second edition at the time, when they got to this point where they were going to find the secret door and decide which way to go, they didn't find the secret door. So this dungeon still sits in one of my archives somewhere, never having been explored.
That bothers me. That bothers my soul.
No.
But I understand that it just sits there and wait, because that's very true to what happens in real life.
Yeah.
I have a couple of those with some of my DMing games.
Yeah.
Where I'll split out, and I don't ever get to use this one because nobody goes there.
Right.
Fuck. It was so good. It was so good.
I put so much effort into it.
Yeah.
But like how I try to set it up is kind of like if you want to think of it as like a TV show. So you have the beginning, obviously, and then you.
Hi, Alex.
A little his flag.
Come here.
Alex.
He's cute, but none of that.
You have the beginning, the middle, and the end, and these are the points you're trying to hit, and everything in between there is essentially just filler and what else can I think of before I get to those places.
Right.
And a lot of times is what I would do is, I guess, meta DM. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that's a thing or not.
Sure.
I would sit down, and I sit down, like when I was working on the Drow campaign, I sat down with the Word document and I said, okay, based on how everybody else has ever, on my playing experience with everybody, how do they normally handle these situations regardless of who they're playing as a character?
I don't know if that would be considered meta DMing.
Regardless of who their character is. I wasn't worrying who they were playing as a character. I was worrying about how they think as a person.
That would kind of be meta. I think.
I think
But
that's
it's
just
not-
experience as
I was like,
It-
you know,
it's- yeah,
are
it's
they-
not necessarily a
is
bad
it-
thing.
So one was like, is a dialogue? Do they, talk? Do a more diplomatic approach?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, if that doesn't happen, okay, well, what if it's aggressive and violent? What if they flee? What if they
Do something else.
Yeah, do something else.
To me, that sounds more like knowing your players.
That's exactly right, because I think that's a very good way, because I had a player who, anytime he was confronted with authority that was like trying to capture him, for example, city guards, he was trying to be stealthy in this one area, and the city guards came in and they said, halt, we have you, you're to come with us. And he flipped out, he went berserk, killed 2 of the guards and got away. And the whole plot point was upon him getting captured. Mm-hmm. So the next time there was an opportunity, they didn't draw down on him. They knocked him the hell out with something from behind, a club or something. They knocked him out, and the questioning happened with him in chains in a dungeon.
Because the DM knew that he wasn't going to go.
Because, exactly.
In that instance, it's also that the guards were part of that situation, so the guards themselves knew.
The word spread. The word got, they reported back he killed Obrick and Bob, and he escaped, on my horse. Frida. And
See, that doesn't sound like that. I mean, meta DMing sounds very.
It kind of sounds redundant.
Because
right, it kind of is really, because
that might have to be a video all on its own.
Yeah,
meta DMing.
Meta DMing, because
Alex.
well, the thing is, you have to be a bit of a meta DM, because the goal of the Dungeon Master is to make it as enjoyable as possible for the players. Mm-hmm. Right? So you guys keep playing. Because if you make it, miserable and frustrating, and you want everybody to see how clever you are, go whack off in a mirror, and then you've got a great audience that'll never let you down. But if you want to have a good gaming group that lasts frickin' forever, then you make it challenging and fun and exciting and adventurous and thrilling and never boring. And in doing that, you have to do that kind of thing. You have to say, well, what would this person do the most of, and how would this be challenging, and put those kind of things there insofar as plot points. And you're absolutely right when you say that what happens between the plot points can be anything.
Right.
It can be absolutely anything, and that's very cool.
I think
I'll give you 200 experience points as a dungeon master. I think you leveled up.
I think the mindset that you can by learning from your players, the meta DMing thing is just not sitting well with me.
Yeah, I don't even know if that's a valid.
I think it's just DMing.
It's just good DMing,
If you know your players, then you're a good DM. That's all there is to it.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think that's the meta DMing video right there.
Yeah, for real.
A video inside a video. Videoception.
Inception. So,
I'm not even sure what video this is supposed to be.
well, I think this was it, and actually, it's just we're just trying to help everybody be the best DM they can be. Excuse me. That's the best DM you can be. And drinking, and you're a good DM. You roll damn dice. Oh, it hits you. What the fuck? I don't know.
You're so
You killed it. You leveled up 3 times. I don't know what it was.
You killed it.
Points for everyone.
Yeah, now it don't matter, does it?
Passes out.
So, did you think that I was, or we
Words.
Did you think that we or I was metagaming that moment then?
No, I
what started this conversation?
I do not suspect you guys of. I'm the Tavern Master. I gotta keep my tables clean.
Don't
Use
take it away.
toasters.
I would not suspect you of metagaming, because I don't like to play with metagamers, and I enjoy our games a lot.
Well, we have.
But I was really curious about what was giving you guys the motivation to do, to make, to be so opposed in your perspective about what needed to be done at that given moment. And it really made me curious.
Well, and I mean, to sum it up, too long didn't read. Mine was because it was my character, and his was because it was his character.
Exactly, and that's the name of that tune. So yeah, I think that's good. That's really good. And once again, I'm very pleased with my players. So, if you've got any comments or any stories of that, here comes Alex, the Tavern Cat, Alex. Nope, he's gone. I was going to go die, but he didn't. So if you've got any good ideas or any thoughts on this subject or whatever, just let us know. Leave it in the comments. And there he is. There he is. What is he even?
He's pawing something.
That little fuzzball. Anyway, leave a comments and like, subscribe, and all that crap.
Blah blah blah.
Blah blah blah. And let us know what you think. Let us know your stories. We love to hear that. And if you got any questions or anything, let us know, and we'll get back with you. Right. So you guys want to add
with a comment or another video?
Comment or another video if you're So.
Please check us out on YouTube, of course, and you can also check us out at www.dwarventavern.net.
They're checking us out on YouTube right now.
I know, mind blown. So
Tubeception.
we're also on Facebook and Twitter, so check us out there also. And I think that concludes this video.
I think it does, because you cannot tell someone on a video to watch the video that they're not going to know about what's in it until they watch it. Think about that. Meta tubing. So, on behalf of the entire cast and crew of the Dwarven Tavern, I am Dr. Jeff Goins.
I am Lyric Owens.
And I'm Josh.
And we wish for you to want for nothing but adventure. And at first I feared it,
Then I charged.
Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.